Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Independence. We join tonight's scene after a call has been placed to a prominent psychologist in the city, one Dr. Morgan. The person contacting his office identified himself as an Agent Burt Mackland of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, inviting Dr. Morgan to come down to the police precinct tonight to just check over a few things, as they quite like his particular field of expertise and his input on the cases that they're currently investigating.
Of course, Dr. Morgan would have agreed to help them out in anything they required of him. And he'd leave his offices a little bit early, probably 15 minutes before he actually intended to get to his car and drive over there, showing up close to 5 minutes late. And of course, as soon as he steps out of his vehicle, he's using his cane, trying to keep weight off of his right leg. He approaches the building and walk on in.
Inside, he's met by the standardly uniformed desk sergeant, who apparently recognises him, glancing down to a note that he's apparently got. Dr. Morgan, right?
And that would be correct.
Just one moment. And he picks up the phone, dials 3 digits, waits for a minute before speaking again. Desk Sergeant Barnes here. Dr. Morgan's arrived. And shortly after he hangs up, he says, "There'll just be a few seconds."
Just give a bit of a nod. Oh, okay. And as he's waiting, he's just gonna give a glance about the room, see if they put anything on the walls.
There's the standard missing persons reports, one of which is a young blonde woman called Charlotte, apparently been missing for a good month now. Beyond that, there's a notice suggesting that anyone who has any sort of information about this spree killing from what they're calling the Independence Ripper, to contact the police department immediately. And sure enough, after maybe 20 seconds, a man in a black suit turns up with a black tie, approaching Dr. Morgan. Dr. Morgan?
Yes. He'll put some weight onto this cane while extending his left hand. And you are?
The man pauses a moment, having almost begun to raise his right hand before he raises the left and shakes Dr. Morgan's hand firmly. Agent Burt Macklin, I spoke to your secretary.
Ah. I was told that you required my assistance with something.
Yeah, please follow me. And he leads the man off through the precinct. It's a general hubbub of activity. There seems to be a lot more writing going on at the moment and a lot less computery noises. He speaks as they walk. Apologies for the mess. He motions around at the mounds of paperwork that's around. We've had a bit of a problem in our system, so unfortunately most of the stuff that we're going to be handing you is paperwork, but I'm sure that we can get a uniform to walk it to your car for you.
I see. And as he's looking about, he's actually deliberately going a bit slower. Probably could be blamed on the fact that he has a cane, but he's also doing this so he can get a quick look around and get a better feel for what's going on, see the scope of the devastation of that apparently befell their computer systems.
There's the standard uniformed guys who are bringing people back and forth and just generally seeing the day-to-day running of things. There's a series of people sat down at desks filling out forms and such by hand. There's a guy stood at the photocopier who looks like he absolutely hates his life right now as he opens the top, pulls a form off, sticks the next one in, closes it, and presses 100 copies. There's also a plethora of guys in like short-sleeved shirts with like Marvel and DC ties on that are like clustered around certain computers that aren't being manned by anyone else, and they look extremely frustrated. Eventually, as they make their way through, the man holds open a door to a smaller room where there's a table and a few chairs and a TV screen set up in there, and motions the doctor in.
Of course, go in and looks to the screens, and he's making sure to stay out of the way of the other individual, since he's the one with the cane. And it's likely the other guy will be moving around a bit more than he will.
Well, once inside the room, Dr. Morgan would notice that there's a small stack of paperwork on the table. In addition, there seems to be another man in a similarly black suit who stands up as they enter and offers his right hand at first and then switches to his left. The guy that walks Dr. Morgan in introduces them. This is my partner, Agent Renner.
He'll give a nod. And he'll just say, "Nice to meet you."
He nods, and Agent Macklin offers Dr. Morgan a seat before taking one himself. Now, I'm sure you've seen the news reports of the killing sprees. Hang on. I'm sure you've seen the news reports of these murder sprees that's going on right now.
And he'd give a nod and offer kind of like a sad expression. Goes, "It's a very tragic thing to happen." Say, is that what you need my help with?
Yeah, you see, the problem that we've got here is there's no real police psychologist that we can turn to in order to profile whoever the hell's doing this stuff. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to work with you to just mock up some sort of vague idea of who we're after, and maybe if you could help us with a few other things if we need it.
So, I'll be glad to lend some assistance with that.
Great. He places a hand on the paperwork. This is a copy of all the case files that we've got so far. We couldn't recover everything thanks to the computer problems that we've had, but we've managed to patch most of it back together from things that we had printed out, that sort of stuff. We've got crime scene investigation folders. We've got victim profiles. Whatever you can come up with would be pretty useful to us, if that's all right.
A bit of a nod, saying, "May I?" And he kind of motions to the papers.
Sure, and he slides them across.
At this point, I'll just start looking through them, just not in depth, just glancing through.
But see, it's quite thorough. The crime scene investigation unit stuff is probably something that Dr. Morgan would recognize. There's a very very specific, neat font that goes into the crime scenes in great detail, and seems to note everything about them. Everything's bullet pointed and indented properly, and it's very, very regimented and organized.
Idly comment that at least the person takes really good notes.
Yeah, about that. Uh, I mean, she does good work, but she's cropped up in a case, and we were kind of hoping that you could help out with that as well.
And look up and say, "Oh,
We've uh, we've come across some evidence that might implicate her in, well, not exactly implicate her, but we want to find out more about someone that she knows, and we brought her in for a question, an interrogation session, but we're not quite sure what to make of it. I mean, my partner thinks that she could be lying, but we're not quite sure, and we were just wondering if we could have a professional's look at the situation.
absolutely."
He stands up and moves over the TV set, which is on one of those big plastic stands that that you had in high school, with a VCR player of all things underneath it. He says, "Sorry about the format. Obviously, we had that crash." And he puts the VCR tape, a videotape, into the VCR machine, waits for the static to come up on screen before pressing play. The video is of Anna sat in a police interrogation room. It is a fixed angle, and she sat forwards in the chair, her hands fiddling gently with a clear plastic cup that was set before her. Her shoulders are slightly hunched, and her eyes flick around rather nervously. An off-screen voice speaks that Dr. Morgan would recognise. Interview commencing February 15th, 2015, in the South Central Independence PD building. Chief interviewer is Agent Macklin, assisted by Agent Renner. The time is currently 22:04. Interview begins now. Please, miss, could you identify yourself? Are you a Miss Anna Robinson? Yes, she replies. And there the interview begins. There were a series of questions. Where she was the weekend just gone. She was at Houston Comic Con. She'd booked time off work, and there were photos of her there on her own to prove it. Where she worked previously? She'd worked at the hospital there, before it was a medical school. And then it got on to the more important bits. You used Mr. Maverick as a reference on your application to the PD. What is your relationship with Mr. Maverick? Oh, he was briefly at the campus I was at when I was studying, and we hung out. He bought me some drinks, and you know, I spent the night at his, and after he said if I needed something that I should come to him. So when I saw he was working in the city, I figured, I could ask him to help me out. After that, the questioning went on to what she knew of Mitch, which turned out was precious little. She knew he always had money and liked starting new projects, and they asked if she knew whether he had any contacts in the drug industry. She replied negatively. She didn't know him that well to say whether he had or not. A small folder was then set in front of her. Anna, we know you've been helping the PD out with this case from the museum. Barring the video that was shown to you, have you ever met or seen any of the people in this file? She opened it up, slowly leafing through it, her lips pursing in thought as her eyes moved over whatever was inside the document sheath. Slowly she would begin to shake her head. No, I don't think I've met any of these people. Has your research into the video turned up anything yet? Well, I think it might be some sort of, like a cocktail of drugs based on PCP coupled with like an adrenal stim. And what about the bodies in the morgue? Oh, I think my autopsy report said thorough enough. Is that why you incinerated one of the bodies? That wasn't my fault. She looked very worried for a moment. I countermanded my last recommendation before I went away this weekend. I had it filed, but what with a computer crash, I don't know what happened, but the procedure wasn't followed in my morgue. All right, settle down, Miss Robinson. No one's accusing you of anything here. We're just trying to get to the bottom of this. And so the interview continued, skirting around previous topics, probably so that the FBI agents could see whether she was lying or not. Yet Anna's answers remained very much the same. Apparently she had a very well thought out story. And as the interview finished, Agent Macklin turns the screen off. So, what do you think?
This whole time, Morgan had been staring at this screen very intently, looking at everything she had done, and occasionally he would motion to the screen as if just to keep their focus on something she was doing. And at the end of it, he would say, "Well, I now know why she has such good, or takes such good notes. Um, Minor thing, obsessive compulsive disorder. You have to keep things neat. Beyond that, she seems very nervous to be in that position. She was probably thinking she was going to be arrested at any given moment.
The two
Can't
agents
blame
nod along slowly.
can't blame her. Prob she probably can't even imagine herself littering or getting a parking ticket. So her first time, that is definitely her first time in that chair.
You see, Rena, what did I tell you? And the other guy kind of goes, yeah, yeah, whatever. It's just a hunch. Then Agent Macklin turns back to the doctor. Well, I think, unless you want to read those files here, that's all about all we've got for you.
Mm,
Is there anything else that you think you could need?
I don't know. I'll go over these very carefully, though. And he'll pluck up the notes, and uh, there's probably like a manila envelope that he could put them in.
Yeah, there's like a case folder. Then Agent Macklin stands and moves to open the door. Yeah, I'll walk you out, buddy.
I appreciate that.
And again, Dr. Morgan is led through the precinct, past all of the tech heads that are slowly losing their mind, past the guy at the photocopier that's more than lost his sanity at this point with the amount of crap that he's had to photocopy in the past couple of days. And then eventually they get back to the front desk where um, Agent Macklin would offer his left hand again. Thanks for everything, Doc.
It was my pleasure. And I do want to pause you just a little bit as he was leaving, and the text for like being kind of going a bit bonkers over the what was going on with the computers.
Yep.
And all he's gonna do is as he's being walked out, he's gonna be nodding to everyone, giving either a greeting or a goodbye, and he looks over the when he glances over and sees the text kind of going, "Ah," he's gonna very casually ask, and kind of jokingly, "Did you forget to shut it down and start it again?" And as he says that, activate the discipline, dementation, passion to heighten whatever they're feeling.
He hears a pen snap in one of their hands. Yeah, they're all like, whoa, yeah.
And just gonna make a quick roll to see how long that's gonna last. I've the feeling that's gonna last for a while. And it's God. Make sure it's okay. Standard difficulty. 1 hour. Oh well.
Well, it looks like one of the tech heads is getting sent home when he lashes out at one of the police officers that's come along to ask if everything's sorted out yet. Probably after getting punched by said officer for having a go at him.
You gotta have your fun somehow.
But yeah, Agent Macklin offers him a hand when they get back to the front door of the precinct. Keep in touch, Dr. Morgan.
Thank you. I will. And while he's at his vehicle, he's gonna first open the door and then set the cane in, and then go about sitting down in the driver's seat, put the files in the glove compartment, close the door, and give a wave as he drives off.
And Agent Macklin walks back into the building to head off to start tearing more of his hair out over how little that they've actually got to work on at the moment. Computer-wise, that is. And that's where we end the first part of tonight's scene, with Dr. Morgan driving back home after his brief visit to the police department. Now we join a different scene, one in which the woman in question from the previous scene is sitting in a bar. Anna had taken a bit of time out tonight, possibly because she knew that she needed to get out of the house to meet someone, but possibly for other reasons. All Lennox knew was that she'd been contacted by the prince, saying that someone needed to meet her at a certain bar, and that then she would receive a text from an unknown number giving her a time and a place to meet up. And the text read, "Hey, I didn't realize that you were back in town. Rob told me that you were around. You should come by. You should come by the Quakers bar. We'll grab a drink together. See you at 8, or no, it's Catholic. See you at 11."
And she would have replied to that text, very short, very brief, sure, with a period at the end of it.
And so Anna waited at the end of the bar nearest to the door. She'd obviously been ID'd because she was just looked too harmless to be of drinking age. But regardless, she didn't actually drink anything. She just sort of sat there saying, "Oh, I'm waiting for someone to turn up," and then we were going to order. And that is where Lennox enters the scene.
And Lennox will walk in, and she's wearing just the sweater in her image, except it actually goes down to her complete waist, and just jeans and her normal boots that she wears, and she's got her black and red Harlequin backpack that you can tell looks rather heavy, just kind of sitting on her shoulders. She's got her phone in her hand, and she seems to be texting somebody as she walks in, and she kind of looks around, looking to see if she spots anyone that she knows.
Anna was sat at the bar wearing long, slightly flared black trousers along with a fitted coat. There was what looked like some sort of satchel handbag slung over the back of the bar stools, and she glances over at the door as she hears it open, spotting Lennox walking in. She stands and walks over to her with a big smile on her face. "Hey, Len, hi, we haven't seen you since high school," and she moves in to hug her.
And Lennox would awkwardly wrap her arms around Anna, just because it's a hug and it's awkward for her. But she would hug her anyway. "Hey, how are you, dear?"
And in the hug she would whisper, "Follow me to the bar. We're going to be leaving in 5 minutes. I need your phone."
"You need my phone? You can't have my phone."
I needed to send a text message. It's very important. And with that, she would pull away, smiling once more. Oh, I've just been working. Found a nice job here in town. And she leads her back over towards the bar.
And Lennox would walk over to the bar and take a seat down, and she wouldn't take her backpack off, which is kind of awkward, but she wouldn't. And she would slide her phone over to Anna, and she'd kind of lean in to whisper, I need that back as soon as you're done.
Anna picks up the phone and begins making idle small talk, just about general things, about her work at the hospital, that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, she's got the phone in her hands and she's busily texting a number that she can quite clearly remember. Shortly thereafter, Izzy would get a text pop up. It was very, very simple. It just simply said, it said an address and a time that was about half an hour from now. And then it was signed Anna. And then she slides the phone back to Lennox and says, "Hey, come on, let's go. Let's go have a walk."
And Lennox would just follow behind her.
Oh, as an additional, in the text it would have mentioned if there was a brown car out in front of the building, then Izzy should go to the back of the building. And Anna would lead Lennox off to the address in question.
Well, whenever Izzy gets that text, she'll be in the middle of playing some League with Celio, at least trying to teach him about playing Garen, since the poor bastard dressed up as him this weekend. She's like, damn it! Oh, fuck, Celio, watch my back! Fuck! And she'll look at the phone, really confused. This is not a number she'd recognize, but the fact it's signed Anna makes her raise a brow. Celio, we're gonna have to drop out.
That's fine by me.
Anna needs us to go to this place. I don't know what's going on.
What place?
Some address. She says if there's a brown van out front to drive by and then go around back.
What's the address? And he has since they were playing League, he just pushes B, waits for his character to go back onto the summoning platform, empties the warts in his bag to spell out LOL, flash D, then Alt Tab.
God damn it, Celio. She'll show him the address on the phone. I'm assuming.
And he'll look up a gas station not too far away from there, as if looking up its prices. But in the Google Maps, he's going to navigate over to see what kind of area that is.
It's not too far out from downtown. It just looks like some long is a long road of apartment blocks within easy walking distance of both the hospital and the police department.
Okay.
It's quite a cheap area, though.
And, well, after he sees that, if she handed him the phone, he'll hand it back, and I'll say, well, I'm not entirely sure if we can, or if I can go. They're investigating Mitch and apparently anyone who employs him, which would happen to be me. I don't know if that means they're tapping my phone or if they're following me where I go, so I've been rather careful lately.
she kind of looks at Celia and she's a little pout. And she's like, "Well, I need a ride. I can't walk that whole way. I mean, I can, but I won't be back till sunup. Let me ask her, okay?"
Yeah.
And she'll text, or she'll call that phone. She won't say this over text.
And when the phone rings, Lennox would hand the phone over to Anna. This is for you.
Oh, thanks. Lennox might notice that after they'd left the bar, the happy, enthusiastic, wonderful with people visage just completely vanishes, and she's kind of nervous and jittery as much as Lennox is. And Anna answers the phone. Busy?
Anna, hey, what's up? What's going on?
There's some things that you need to see. Bring Celia.
Yeah, about that. They're investigating Mitch. So, are they following Celio?
Not that I know of. Something went wrong with the systems, and they've basically short-staffed their surveillance units so that they can take care of it. They've only got one guy watching me. It's weird.
Isabel starts to chuckle. Huh. That much damage, huh? Alright. I'll get Celia. We'll see you in about 10. Want us to bring drinks?
That would be very nice, please.
Okay. I'll bring my laptop. Maybe we'll lead. Bye. She hangs up.
And Anna hands the phone back to Lennox.
Oh,
And Lennox will take it, and she'll look completely confused by that conversation, but she won't say anything. And she'll open her phone back up and text her very persistent girlfriend.
Izzy will turn to Celio. Alright. So, you know all that awesome shit I did? She grins. You know, getting those files and things?
Hmm?
Crashing their systems. They're so short-staffed, they've only got one person watching over Anna. Let alone Mitch. I can assume, anyway. They don't really suspect you, so you're not being followed. So you don't have to worry.
I'll give a nod to that and say, "Oh, you mentioned drinks." And say,
Yeah.
"My kind of drink, or?"
She nods. Yeah, she sounds jittery as hell, Celio.
Give a bit of a nod, and he'll go over and into his private reserve and pull out a. It looks like a wine bottle, actually.
And she'll smile at that. Perfect. Oh, let me grab my laptop. And, want me to bring yours? We might play League while we're over there.
Sure. As he's saying that, he goes over and gets his keys. And leaves his cell phone behind.
Probably very smart. Isabel will pack up the laptops and she'll get some glasses, like wine glasses out to bring along, and then she'll kind of scuttle along behind him after making sure the cat and birds all have their food.
And for sake of ease of narrative, we can say that it takes Izzy and Celio maybe 20-25 minutes to drive there. There is, of course, a black van sat out front of the building, so presumably they drive around back just at the same time that Anna and Lennox have walked maybe the 20-25 minutes from the bar. And that's where Izzy and Celia would see Anna slightly fumbling with the keys at the back door of the apartment block.
Right, and since Celia was driving, we'll park somewhere not right next to that building, but closer to a different one. Maybe a few buildings down, just to give the appearance that's not where he's going.
The apartment building's a 4-story affair, and perhaps it's several windows wide. There must be at least 8 apartments on each floor, 4 on each side. Then there's a little alleyway leading down the sides of both buildings, and there's of course this back road that everyone's using, it seems, to head up to the back door. It doesn't look like the most upmarket of places, and it kind of looks a bit like a dive. Probably why Anna's having kind of a bit of problems with the lock, as it might have been attempted to have been opened in some of the last few days. But she eventually gets it open just in time for Izzy and Celio to turn the corner and spot the black-haired girl with her new brown-haired friend, which was odd for Anna.
Did you say they were outside? I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're just at the back door.
Once the car stops, Isabel will hop out. And she'll stand by the car and wait for Celio, but she'll offer Anna a wave.
She noticed that Anna tenses up slightly and looks almost like she wants to just run over there and jump on Izzy, and give her a gigantic hug. She looks quite worried.
Oh. Isabel would have probably ran over and hugged Anna, but she sees the new girl, and that makes her feel really nervous because this is not somebody she knows. She's never seen Lennox. So she's kind of, once Celio's out of the car, she just kind of shuffles over with the laptop bag and the wine glasses and whatnot, and she just kind of goes, brought some stuff to hang out.
And Lennox looks equally as uncomfortable and awkward. She doesn't usually do people. Not very well, not groups of people. And she's kind of standing there really quiet and just keeps fiddling with her phone as if she's just desperate for a text message to come through.
And that makes 3 of them all kind of stood around looking kind of, I don't do people.
Before heading out there, Celia kind of reached over, and it looked like he was trying to get a hold of his laptop bag. And as he's doing this, I'm going to activate Aura Perception, and he's going to look at this new person. And nope. Oh, that's great. Gonna go into this blind. Picks up his laptop bag, slings it over his shoulder as he steps out of the vehicle, closes the door, manually locks it instead of using the button because it honks when you do that. And as he walks over, he's just gonna give everyone a bit of a smile and a nod. And once he's over, he's gonna say, "So, are we gonna stay outside this whole time?"
Yeah, come in. And she turns as though she just realised something and leads the trio of them inside. Fortunately for Izzy, there is no elevator in this building, and they get led up a couple of flights of stairs and along a corridor to an apartment door that Anna unlocks and leads the way into. Make yourselves at home. It's quite small inside. Definitely nothing like the penthouse that Izzy and Celio are currently living in. There's a single room that's possibly, I don't know if it's a small to mid-sized room dominated by a large TV with a DVD and Blu-ray player and an external hard drive sat in front of it, with a big sofa in front of it and a coffee table between the sofa and the TV. There's a few bookshelves with lots of medical journals and scientific books and all that sort of stuff. And there's a picture of Anna in a graduation gown with a cap on and a scroll of paper, smiling. And next to it, there's what looks like a bachelor's degree that's nicely framed. Further on over the room, there's a very small kitchenette, as well as two doors in a little alcove, one going behind the kitchenette and another going off into another room, both of which are closed. Come in. Close the door.
And Lennox would be the last one in the door, and once she closes it, her instinct would be to lock every lock that is possibly on this door, and she would do it even though it's not her place.
There's one Yale lock, like a latch, two deadbolts, a chain, and a bar with a groove cut in it that flicks over a little brass bulb on the side that acts almost like a chain does.
Yeah, Lennox would definitely lock all of those because it's very similar to her locks on her door.
I'm sorry. There's not many seats. I don't have visitors. But please, and she motions to the sofa. Izzy, this is I think it's Lennox. Robin put me in contact with her. She has the same skills set that you do, kind of.
Gotta AFK for keep time.
I didn't catch that. Sorry.
She said she's
going
an AFK a minute.
Okay. And then she motions at Celio. This is Celio. Celio, this is Lennox.
And Lennox just kind of offers a smile. She doesn't sit on the couch, though. She doesn't like being cluttered, so she finds like a spot on the floor, if she can, anywhere, and sits on the floor away from people.
Oh, there is a lot of floor space available.
She will sit on the floor where like she can still talk and be social, but she's not near anybody, and her back will always be towards, like, she'll always be facing the door. Like, she always has to be looking at the door.
As he's introduced, he's just gonna offer a bit of a nod. And Celio stays standing. It's hard to tell why, but he's just gonna stay standing and does take a bit of a look around the room, as if trying to get a feel for the room itself, how lived in it is.
It looks like most of the, in air quotes, lived in area is the sofa, the table, and the TV screen. It looks like that when Anna's at home, that's where she effectively lives. The kitchenette looks practically unused. Everywhere else is pretty much spotless.
And I'll pause and turn back to and glance to Anna and just say, "Is this your haven or supposed to be your haven?"
Yeah.
You may want to put some magazines on a table or something, so when people come in that are of the same persuasion as any motions to himself, Isabel and Anna, they won't look around and think something's a bit off with how.
Oh. Well, I mean, you three. I haven't had anyone over in years. I've never had house guests, so but thank you.
And Lennox will actually reach in her backpack and she'll pull out like Wired magazine and PC Gamer magazine and like Game Informer, and she would sit them on the table.
And Anna moves around so that she's between the little coffee table and the TV, just kind of slides the magazines along. If there's any folded corners, she unfolds them very carefully and smooths them out before she lines them up rather perfectly neatly in the middle of the table.
There were definitely no folded corners.
Sorry, go ahead.
While that's going on, Seal's gonna very casually turn on the TV, see what channel it's on.
It was on the History Channel.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'll turn back off and say, at least you didn't leave it on TV Guide.
Oh no, I like the History Channel. I watch it a lot, and Discovery as well.
As well, because people are being investigated. I don't know exactly who, but it's a good idea to look as inconspicuous as possible. So leaving it on something that you like watching is a good idea.
Oh, and she smiles slightly. That's good to know. But about that, and she unhooks the satchel from over her shoulder and opens it up. I managed to get these, and she puts down a selection of sheets of paper on the table. They all look like they've been photographed from a cell phone camera and then printed out with some sort of portable printer. Does anyone know who these people are? I know Shell, but I don't know who the other ones are. And it's a series of it looks like it's a police file with various screen caps and physical descriptions next to it of Shell, Tyler, Lucas, Eve. She also says that she knows Eve, and Amelia.
And Seal will be looking over this, and he'll point out Lucas and says, "I know him. He's a Torador."
Okay. Well, the FBI called me into a room and they started questioning me about Mitch and what I knew about him. And so last night, once everyone had nearly left the office, I took a look around at what I could see, and from what I could tell, they're going to be putting out APBs and warrants for all these people, and possibly Mitch as well.
And been nod to them, saying, well, Eve should be relatively taken care of. I'm pretty sure her mother will make this all go away, at least for her. Not too sure about this one, and he motions to Lucas. He seems troubled, distant. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know this one, and he motions to Tyler. And I can't remember if Celio has ever met Amelia.
He has. He met her in the Desert Rose.
And he would have also motioned to her and said that he knows her as well. And he would kind of motion to her picture and just say, not too sure about this one either. I don't know much about her.
Anna nods along gently before she neatly pushes all the bits of paper together. Well, I wanted to help. And she pulls another sheet of paper out. I found this, and it's a picture of Izzy and Anna in a park together, and that's why I wanted to contact Robin for you, Lennox. I didn't want this to be bad for Izzy. I don't want to get in caught. She looks down and away from Izzy.
Isabel will instantly put an arm around her. Hey, it's okay.
I don't know what to do. I've not been in this position before. I mean, I know the police are watching me. I've sort of had that before, and I mean, Officer Blasowski's nice, but I don't know what to do about any of the rest of this. I only have to deal with myself.
First step is you need to relax. And he'd motion to the bottle that Isabel was probably carrying at this point, saying, which is why I assume we were told to bring this.
Is that wine? And she kind of backs away from it slightly.
For vampires.
Oh, okay. I don't drink alcohol.
Oh.
I've had bad experiences.
Isabel looks awkward now.
She tenses up
Oh.
slightly.
Well, it's blood. It's just she kind of frowned. I don't know. I just thought it would help. And then she looks down at her feet.
But thank you for the thought, Izzy. I've had to get rid of my stash here, just in case, there's a no-knock raid or something.
And he can give a little bit of a nod at that. Okay. Well. That's there if anyone else would want it. After all, we did bring it. And he'd say, go ahead.
No, after you.
And you said that you know the person who's been watching you on occasion.
Oh, Officer Blasowski? Yeah, he's... And she glances up and looks out to the window that's fully, curtained off, and there's no light getting through it at all. Yeah, he's been there off and on for the past couple of days.
So, can I ask what happened? Why are you all being followed? What the hell is going on?
Oh, right. And then all of a sudden, the the nervousness just kind of breaks, and Anna starts talking. A few weeks ago, I was brought into a police investigation run by Internal Affairs that was investigating a video that had cropped up from when these people, and she motions at the leaf of photos in front of her, they stopped a raid on the Prince's museum, but they got video footage of them doing it, and the police brought me in to investigate to see if there was any chemical compounds I knew of that did that. They had 2 bodies within the morgue. I don't know what happened after that, but I know Mitch was talking about setting up a special effects company that would be producing a film that they say that this footage was from. Now, I don't know what happened with that. All I know is that the FBI stepped up their investigation as soon as I saw that video online. I was advised to destroy the bodies, but as soon as the FBI took the case, they immediately ordered that the bodies be held further, and I didn't want to jeopardize my job, so I countermanded my own order previously before I went to a convention this weekend. But whilst I was gone, because the systems were down, half of it only got halfway, and one of the bodies was destroyed before the order fully got through to my replacements for this weekend. Since then, I've been brought in to be questioned by the FBI because they are trying to find anything on Mitch that they can, so that they can, I don't know, pin the crime on him or find out what's going on there. And then she breathes. Not that she had to.
Huh, so they think Mitch killed them and they're trying to blame him for the murders. So now they're questioning everybody that might have contact with him to try to get them to fess up.
Yes, and she turns to Izzy. I need you and Celia to take a message back to Mitch. My story was that we met whilst I was in college, and we spent the night together, and he said he owed me a favour for it, and that's why I used him as a reference. You need to tell him that exactly, okay?
Isabel. So nod. Sorry, I was making sure I wasn't muted. Isabel nodded that. She's like, yeah, sure.
And then she glances up at Celia. I know that they're coming for the company, but I don't think that they have anything on you or anything on the company. They're just trying to find a way that they can bring Mitch in for questioning.
Newton, I didn't think something like this would come up, but fortunately for us, I have legitimized any of his funds.
Can't
They
we
look
just
into the
forge documents and pin this on somebody else and be done with it?
Maybe in movies.
I'm being watched very closely right now. All of the latest 2 murders, I did the autopsy for both of those. I was watched by a vetted doctor from the FBI. I can't do anything in the morgue without being watched right now.
Yeah, but the chemicals that were used to destroy essentially these forms, they're trying to say that it came from Mitch's special effects company that he was talking about, correct?
No, Mitch has. When you get home, search for Poltercop on YouTube. Mitch has set up this. I think he was talking about setting up a special effects company so that he could claim that the video that the police found was actually their special effects reel.
Yeah, I've seen these videos. It's not so much that, there's any chemicals involved. It's that they literally have vampires cutting people in half. They've got Shell, the hound, she's running through a fountain, destroying it with her body. Like, severe levels of masquerade breach. And they were on police cameras. So now that Mitch has tried to cover it up by saying it was a movie, it's very suspicious, you know?
And she'll actually go in her backpack now and set her two laptops on, well, her laptop and her MacBook on the table. And
No,
she'll
stop!
open.
And Anna's hands go to immediately push the lids of the laptops back down. I'm under police surveillance here. Everything that we do in here has to be on paper, and only paper.
Even if I tether off of the Wi-Fi from my cell phone.
I highly advise turning it off.
Okay, fair enough. And she would just slide her MacBook and laptop back into her backpack.
And Anna lets out a soft. Sorry, I didn't mean to snap at you. I just know how police surveillance works, which might strike people as a bit odd if they knew Anna.
Yeah. Izzy's gonna look at her and she's gonna go, I thought you just, joined the morgue not all that long ago.
Oh well, I mean, I watch a lot of I watch a lot of CSI and that sort of show as well. So I sort of know police procedures through them. I mean, I know they're not 100%, but it's close enough.
Isabel is gonna actually try to figure out if you're lying or not, so she's gonna do perception empathy.
4 successes on manipulation, subterfuge with persuasive.
Ooh. Okay. I have a specialty for perception, which is attentive. So if you'd allow me to use that to make one of my 10s 2, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
He knows a bit more than she's letting on at that moment. You're not sure what, but you know something. Like CSI and all that's all well and good, but it's definitely fake. So she doesn't know that. She can't know as much as she's perhaps let slip just from watching that sort of show.
Izzy's not going to say anything about it, though, but she's going to file that away in her head, and she'll talk to Celio about it later. Right. Of course, that explains to Anna, and she'll smile at her.
Anna gives a goofy grin back. Sorry, what were you saying, Lennox?
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. After a moment or two of just grinning to Izzy, she raises a hand and turns back to Lennox. Oh, I wanted to talk to you. I called Robin to find someone like you because I can't have any contact doing, investigating this with Izzy because it'll draw attention to her, and I asked her for whoever was new in town and you came up. So I was wondering if you could work with Izzy if I use you as an intermediary. I mean, if anyone was watching us in that bar, they know that we're friends now. So it wouldn't be weird for the two of us to be seen together. Whereas if I'm with Izzy and they can connect Izzy to Celio and they connect Celio to Mitch, then it could be bad.
That's completely fine. Use me as you need me. I don't care. I'll help out where needed. If you can't reach me on my phone, I'm usually at my apartment. Remind me to give you the address later. And if I'm not there, I'm usually with Kaylee, if you know her.
Who's Kaylee?
Okay, well, never mind then.
And she glances rather concernedly towards Celio and Izzy. Is there another person in town another vampire that I haven't met?
Isabel shrugs. She doesn't know who that is either.
Well, anyway, Izzy, is that okay with you? I'm sorry that we won't be able to spend as much time together now. She looks genuinely crestfallen at that idea.
Oh, that makes Isabel just like, her face goes really sad. Oh, well, yeah, that'll be fine.
You know, you can also use non-conventional ways of communication. You know, when they think of communication, they always look at computers and cell phones, and she'll reach in her backpack and she'll pull out her 3DS. You can always communicate by ways like this. It all goes through Nintendo, so it's not something that they would track, or you can even do it through a game.
Anna just kind of stares at Lennox for a few moments. I hadn't even thought of that. And she looks kind of bewildered at the woman, like, that should have occurred to her. Why didn't Anna think of that?
And I can also, I know you don't want me on your internet, but I can get on your internet and I can see how many devices are actually connected to it and see where they're coming from to see if you actually are being tracked too.
Oh, I know that. That I have a setup over there for it, and she points at where the router is just in the corner on the bottom shelf of a bookcase.
And we can amp up the security a little bit here, dear.
That would be nice. I don't have that much experience with computers. Izzy, would you like to come by another day and help?
And Isabel nods at that. She's like, yeah, sure. I wasn't really sure how many computers and things you had, or I would have offered sooner. She smiles at her.
I just have my laptop.
We can also set up a server where you reroute the IP address every, I don't know, minute.
But maybe we should do this. I mean, shouldn't we do it over time?
Oh yeah.
If
I can even do it remotely when you're not home.
No. Okay. Well, I brought people here because I needed to get a message out to Mitch that he's being tracked, and I didn't know how else to do it. And I can't do anything at the moment on this. So I was wondering if you three could work on that with Mitch. If that's okay.
Yeah, I think he was the guy who brought me to go see the prince, I think.
Okay, so you'll handle that?
Yep, I'll take care of it. And of course, if anybody sees him before I do, by all means, we need to get the word to him a lot quicker.
I'll probably seen him before, most of you. Well, except for Celio. We all work in the same place.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
But by all means, you can hang out with Maverick all you want. She's gonna
Uh,
shrug.
yeah, no, I'm good. I like to hang out in my home.
Oh, you and me both then.
But while you're here, she looks at Lennox and slowly pulls a DS out of her satchel. What's your friend code?
And Lennox will just rattle it off without even having to look at her 3DS friend code.
It takes a few moments for Anna's DS to boot up properly before she just puts it in, apparently from memory.
You know, they even have the messaging feature on here where you don't even use text, where you use drawings. You can even use that to write the words, and that way it doesn't transcript any sort of texting.
No, but the pictures would be saved to Nintendo's server, and with a police order they could get into that. If, and only if, she kind of looks at Anna, if they suspected you were using it for that kind of thing. But you're not a suspect, right?
Oh no, no. They didn't say anything like that. They just wanted to know about Mitch. I think they're just trying to pin stuff on him.
Good.
I think that's why they're watching me, to see if my story will connect together. That's why you have to tell him that message word for word.
She knows.
I tried passing the note through, but as you can see, and she points at the photo of her and Izzy in the park, they followed me there. So, I mean, I don't know what to do.
For now, just play it cool. That's all you really can do. Play it cool. Don't cut off contact altogether with Mitch. If they think that you talk to him regularly, it's going to look weird that suddenly you're not talking to him. Right, Celio? She looks to him.
Look at the nod saying, also, if I were you, keep all of your digital communications between you and any kindred to, do you want to have a LAN party? And wherever that you and the other kindred go, set up some computers and play something like League while you talk. That way, if they do monitor what you're doing, you went over to a friend's house and played a video game.
Yeah, that's why, and she points at Lennox. That's why I had to use your phone to contact, and she points at Izzy, because I know they're watching my phone, and it would be a bit weird if I, out of the blue, warned Izzy about the brown van outside. I couldn't really tell you there in the bar. Sorry. She gives a rather sheepish smile. But I think that's everything I have. I mean, you can take these photos if you want. And she holds the photos up. I had a burner phone briefly, just so I could take pictures, and then I passed a magnet over it, like I saw in CSI, and sent it back saying that it was defective.
Isabel nods, like, yeah. I used magnets myself for a few things. Pick that up from him, and she motions to Celio.
Just nod at that.
So,
Okay.
not to voices sound like I need my ego stroked, but I kind of do. How bad is it as far as the crash?
We're writing everything out by hand. The techs have got the logging system back up, but that's about it. I'm having to write out all of my reports by hand. I use a lot of paper now.
Well, I'm sorry it inconvenienced you. And she kind of smiles at her. But if it slows them down and keeps us off our heels for a little bit, kind of nice.
Oh, yeah, I mean, standard procedure is to have two officers out there, but it's just Officer Blasowski. And he leaves at like 1 a.m.
And Lennox is going to be looking at the wine bottle and contemplating if she should try some.
Izzy's gonna actually go ahead and uncork it, or however it's closed. I'm assuming it's corked. Yes, Dave?
Yeah.
She'll cork it and she'll pour some for herself and kind of look around. Anyone?
Of course, the old saying. I'll have some. Why not?
She'll pour a glass for him.
And
What about you?
And it just seems to shrink down slightly as it's offered around.
And Lennox is just kind of staring at it, and she's just like, I don't recall ever drinking.
She'll pour like a half glass for Lennox then. And she'll kind of slide it towards her. It's not like that potent.
Does it taste different?
She looks at CeeLo. Not really.
If I didn't tell you that it would have an effect similar to alcohol, you wouldn't know it by the taste.
And she'll like hold it to her lips and like sniff it before she takes a sip of it. And then she just kind of shrugs and just holds it in her hands.
By this time, Anna's gently biting her lower lip and eyeing the glasses.
Celia will very slowly drink his, as if savoring the taste of a very fine wine.
Izzy?
Yeah. She'll
Uh,
look over at her.
Next time you come over, could you bring me something to eat? I haven't eaten since I got back.
Oh, she instantly frowns at that. She's like, you haven't been feeding?
Well, the police are watching me, and I don't know how well they'll be watching me if I go out, and I've had to get rid of my stash here, so I haven't had any on hand.
You are going to come home with me tonight, and I will take care of you.
She gives Lennox a very mistrusting look.
No, not like that, dear. Not like that. Kaylee would kill me.
I've only just met you. I don't think I would be comfortable with going to your house.
Okay, okay. Never
Why
mind
not?
then.
Why not just take some blood from Isabel?
You could always do that. I don't mind. I'm gonna refill anyway. She looks at Anna.
Oh, okay. And she's starting to shift rather nervously now.
She will take one of the wine glasses that's not. She'll set hers down, but she'll take one of the empty ones and take out her knife that she carries on her. And she'll cut herself, her palm of her hand, I'll say.
And Lennox will walk into the corner of a room and just not want any part to do with this. She's like dry heaving.
The kitchenette, as Lennox has just walked into, looks like it's been cleaned top to bottom quite recently. Possibly by someone that takes a rather great care in everything that she cleans.
And that would not be what Lennox would be looking at or focusing on.
The sink is immaculate.
Well, good to know. She's actually going to walk over to the sink and just, because that's like the farthest point I would assume from where she is.
Isabel's gonna watch her leave.
Anna glances at her as she leaves as well before she looks back at Izzy's blood rather hungrily.
When she fills up the wine glass, she's gonna like very quietly say to Anna, "What's with all these vampires in the city afraid of blood?"
She gives a rather incredulous look and a shrug. She's never had a problem with it. Although that might be for other reasons.
Either way, she's gonna hand over a glass of her blood to Anna.
And Lennox will kind of look back and realize it's in a glass and feel way better about this. Like, way better about this than she originally thought she would. And she just kind of walks back over and she's like, even though she doesn't have to breathe, she's still breathing heavily because she's just like, okay, good. All right, we're okay. That's all right. I'm okay. And she's just talking to herself.
Anna starts off by... She holds the glass in two hands and raises it up to her lips and takes a little sip before she just starts chugging it down. And then once she's done, which was quite quickly, she sets the glass down and just lets out a soft and slides sideways to lean against Izzy gently.
Izzy puts an arm around her. Like, I can bring you some more tomorrow if you want.
That would be very nice.
You don't always have to drink from me if you don't want. I can just, bring some over in a blood pack. I lived off of blood packs for ever, really. I only started actually hunting recently, but she shrugs. It's mostly because I just don't like people.
Oh, me too. Until my stash had to be disposed of, I mostly drank from blood packs and occasionally a person.
Yeah.
And Lennox will... Oh, go ahead, dear.
No, go ahead, no.
Lennox will kind of chime in and she'll go, if you ever need blood bags, that's all I drink. So I've got quite a bit. You just let me know what you want, and I've got it.
You should try drinking from a person.
Nope. I'm good. The thought of it just makes me absolutely sick. I can't do it.
Isabel blinks again. And she'll try not to shake her head or make any sort of obvious motions that she's kind of shaking her head mentally, as it were. Either way, she'll look back to Anna again and go, "You look kind of weird without your Lulu hat." She pokes her nose.
Oh, I was going to wear it to work, but I didn't want the guys to make fun of me. And she reaches over to where it is on the floor, dragging it out and putting it on her head with a big grin.
Isabel's just gonna laugh a little. She's like, "This is what I mean. You are the best support." And she goes back to drinking from her glass.
Lennox, Anna is now sat in a big Lulu hat.
And Lennox is just kind of looking at her and giggling. You can actually play Lulu, because I can't.
Well, I play support.
She's like the one support I can't play.
Well, we were trying to get Celio into League, so I started playing non-support characters so that Izzy could lane with him.
Yeah, we were playing that just when you texted me. Can't even believe it. He was like 19-0. And she kind of looks at Celio.
As Garen.
Yeah.
And at that, he kind of raises one hand. In the best Garen voice that he can manage, he says, "For Narnia!"
Isabel loses it.
And Lennox just literally puts her hand over her eyes, like face palming herself, and just shakes her head, and then drinks more wine.
I don't get it. Narnia is a completely different world. Anna looks slightly bewildered.
It is.
Yeah, Celio, it's Demacia.
And he looks genuinely confused by this.
And this is where Lennox starts losing it laughing.
Were you saying that for the entire convention?
Isabel nods.
Oh my god, I have so much bad second-hand embarrassment right now.
Yeah. How do you think I feel? I was walking around with him the whole time. I just assumed, though, that it was more of a joke. Then again, I was Lux. I got picked on a lot about, incest. She frowned.
At least you didn't have guys trying to take pictures of your loincloth. She glances
No.
to... I was a Carly, by the way.
Isabel's eyes narrow.
I could never have dressed like that.
And even though they both know Celio didn't, he kind of like looks away and whistles innocently as if he did. But they know he didn't because he didn't even have his phone at the time.
Isabel shoots him a look, but then she looks back to Anna and she's like, "You didn't get any of their names, did you?" Like, she's kind of pissed looking right now. Or as mad as Isabel can look.
Well, no, sorry.
See, this is why I wish you would have walked around with us. I wouldn't have let that happen. And neither would have he. Most guys were scared to come up with me because I was on his arm.
Sorry, and she cuts herself off and glances down at the floor.
Hey. I know what you told me before, and seriously, you don't have to worry about anything.
If you guys ever want any of the ins to any of these conventions or VIPs or anything, just let me know. I'll talk to my sponsors and I'll get you guys all taken care of.
That would be pretty rad. I never really got to start going to conventions until I got here.
Yeah, I've got a tournament next weekend and yeah.
Izzy nods. So, would they catch you if we started playing stuff on the internet, like games? She looks at Anna.
I don't know.
Because I did bring over my laptop and had Tulio bring his. Thought it'd be fun to play all in the same room.
And it would almost be suspicious if we didn't do anything, if we all just came here and did nothing.
Well, okay.
That's four of us. Well, at least we only have like one pug. Don't worry, I won't invite Mitch to this one.
Anna finally laughs for the first time this evening.
Izzy smiles at that.
I can see if I can get Kaylee on, but she's not very good. She's not very good at all.
Celia was a natural when it came to Garen. I was really confused. Guess it's true, you just spin to win.
She just thinks every creature has a story and doesn't want to kill it.
What is she, like Pocahontas?
I never thought of her like that, but she's what everybody's calling the elf in town. I don't know if you've heard that, but that's her.
I think Chell said something about an elf. Like Lord of the Rings, or...
Elves aren't real, and you can hear her voice kind of faltering as she says that and glances at Izzy, knowing she's been wrong twice before when saying the exact same thing.
She's
Oh, Izzy.
actually called a she or something like that. I don't know. She's just gorgeous. But I got her a computer and got her set up. And she's really bad at it, but hey, we can get her to play. It'd be better than a pug. I can carry her. It'll be alright.
Izzy little nods. And then she just kind of looks at Celia and she's like, so, did you know those existed? Because I didn't know there were elves.
And Lennox will actually pull out her phone and just kind of get a picture that she has of Kaylee out that actually shows her pretty elf-like features without her actually being an elf, but pretty damn close. And she'll just kind of show it around. That is Kaylee. She owns the Curiosity Shop.
Why is the cat in the background so big?
Oh, that's Fizzy. He's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. He talks too. He's kind of a badass.
Oh, like my cat. Izzy looks at Cecilia with a big smile.
Who just finishes his glass off. And after that one drink, he'll be done for the night.
Lennox will actually pour herself another one.
Wait, your cat can talk?
Well, kind of. See, there's one time when I was in New York, this dick kind of took away one of my powers because he was kind of a dick. But my cat told me to follow her to this place if I wanted it back. And she's looking dead serious, by the way. So she ran outside and I followed her.
Izzy gets a rather incredulous look again from Anna. The same one that she got when she said that werewolves and ghosts were real.
I'm serious, Anna. I mean, she hasn't said a word since then, but maybe she just doesn't want to talk.
I'm going to have a lot more to write about in my book, I think.
I think a lot of it is if you open your mind to the imagination, you can hear it. At least that's what she tells me. Not everybody can hear this big cat talk, but he's gigantic. Like, when I hold him, like, he extends, like, the length of my body. He's huge.
And Isabel just kind of reclines on the couch more, and she'll open up her laptop at this point. And she'll start logging into the game.
And Lennox will pull out both her computers and can't really decide which one she wants to play on, so she'll probably pick her massive laptop and open it up. And she actually carries like a gaming mouse with her and a headset and like all this stuff in her
And-
little Harley Quinn backpack.
And it does raise a hand and be like, there's nothing work-related on those computers, right?
No, this is my gaming laptop. And she pulls out
I don't
Alienware.
want anyone to be able to get in and find stuff out. And with
Don't
that-
worry, dear. It would take a lot for them to get into this computer. You're good.
Okay, so are we doing ARAM or Summoner's Rift? Have you seen the new draft mode?
We should play the new mode, but, well, maybe. I don't know if Celio can. He's only like level 2. We don't get to play that much.
Yeah, Kaylee's not high level. Oh, let me text her real quick, and Lennox will pull out her phone. And a second later, her phone rings back, and Kaylee's logged on and messaging like Lennox 1,000 times over.
And I think we can call the scene here as the quartet settle down to play some League.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, we can safely assume that if Kaylee joins them, she is, in fact, quite terrible at League of Legends. So if they do win, it's because Izzy, Anna, and Lennox practically carry the rest of them.
But she's so cute, though.
And I'm assuming that the other three would head off at some point during the night as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as for Celio, he was an unintentional troll.
Oh God.
What did he do?
Just built Garen very tanky, gave him something like frozen mallet and a lot of speed.
And with that, wrapping up the scene rather nicely, ends another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Independence. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And remember, for Demacia!